Usually we meet you on Friday for Pitchside, the Mayo News Sports Weekly, but today, Thursday, we're meeting for an emergency Pitchside. And no wonder, there has been a bombshell in Mayo sport. Last night, I was sitting down watching a deferred showing of EastEnders. It was probably maybe 9:30, and suddenly the mayhem in the Queen Vic was replaced by mayhem in Mayo GAA. Kevin McStay relieved of his duties by the Mayo executive of the county board, and all hell has broken loose since. And today we've been following the story, we've been telling the story on mayonews.ie, but now we've got a chance to think about it and sit down here in the office. I'm joined by my colleague Ron O'Donnell. Ron, it has been a mad morning. Where were you last night when you heard the news?
I was sitting at home in the house in Kilmina, and as I often do on Twitter, just scrolling. And I came across a tweet by Mayo GAA, and I said I'd click into it.
Yeah.
And there it was, the statement, the dreaded statement about Kevin McStay.
Yeah, and I have to say, you alerted me, and suddenly, all the wheels went in motion. And initially, I know that I was, you want to get the story out there. But then within minutes, I felt, oh my God, this is crass. Like, this is a horrific statement. And I know I was delighted then that my feelings were backed up by everything that was happening on Twitter. People were coming out, Lee Keegan, Des Cahill, so many people saying, this is abominable, really.
Oh yeah, so many well-known pundits, even Bernard Flynn, Meath legend, he was going crazy about it. Even David Brady, another proud Mayo man, just the way the words used were just unacceptable in so many ways. Well,
what happened was that Kevin McStay and his management team were, as Mayo GAA said, were relieved of their duties as Mayo manager and backroom team. And whether Kevin McStay and the backroom team were going to resign or going to be moved on, I think there's great anger about that statement, and that, like Kevin McStay, Stephen Rochford, Damien Mulligan, these guys, Donny Buckley, they've given so much of their time and life to Mayo GAA over the years, and for that statement to be made like that, I think that's what's getting people, really. I
think it's important to remember, these lads now, they had another year left on the contract, so it's disagreement obviously came about now, and unfortunately they're gone.
Like the how of it is important too. I know that a few years ago when Liam Moffat was chairman, there was a number of protocols put in place about appointing managers, and I presume, I looked for today, I couldn't find one about getting rid of managers.
Yes,
but surely there's a way to do it. The Cush the Bonishty of Mayo GAA. Now remember, that's the Mayo executives, not the Mayo County Board. They met last night and came out with this statement. But the clubs didn't meet, the delegates didn't meet, the county board actually didn't meet and rubber stamped this. People are talking about Mayo County Board, but Mayo County Board didn't meet. Yeah. And I think that's very important. The clubs were overshadowed in this completely. Yeah.
I think so, and I think most people would have said that McStay and co. time was probably up.
Yeah.
It was just the manner the executive went about it, and I think it's wrong. The clubs weren't involved. I think that's unacceptable as well.
Yeah, absolutely unacceptable. Yeah, because if they were involved, it probably would have ended up being the same story.
Yes.
But they were just cast aside, really.
And it would have been a smoother transition. There would be no outrages on Twitter today, as such.
Because you can say what you like about tactics and football and wins and losses and all that. But Kevin McStay, he's an absolute gentleman. He is one of the finest fellas you'll meet. And we meet we meet all sorts of people in journalism. That's the human nature. But Kevin McStay, he's an absolute gentleman. And to be that statement to come out about him, I'm still stunned. It's nearly 20 hours later, maybe, or 18 hours. It's unbelievable. Yeah,
a man that played for Mayo for so many years as well. He's given so much of his life to Mayo, and the way he's been treated now, health issues as well. I don't think it could have been dealt a lot better.
Yeah, and Stephen Rashford and Damien Mulligan and all the backroom team. They it's not a professional outfit. These guys, I know some of them, they're family people, and they're gone hours, endless hours, and yet this is what's done. It's just awful. Now, it's just the PR of Mayo GAA. It really is. It drives me crazy at times. Yeah, but so now we are where we are. That famous political statement. So we've been talking in the office all morning about who's next. Isn't that the king is dead? Long live the king. Yeah. Who is next? What's your thoughts on it?
There's a lot of names linked, of course.
Yeah.
There's been 3 front runners, kind of. James Horan, it could be third time lucky.
Yeah.
But I'd be looking at the likes of Austin O'Malley.
Yeah.
Winning All-Ireland with Coola, that was such an impressive year. And Andy Moran, one of the best footballers that ever came out of Mayo. He's a popular man. And
managed Leitrim, is a very good coach now with Monaghan.
And he's been doing very well with Monaghan. They've been kicking, they're averaging 27 points a game, and I think he deserves a lot of that credit.
Absolutely. Other names, I suppose, Michael Solon will always be there.
Yeah, he's done well with underage with Mayo.
Yeah, absolutely. Manager of Longford now. Then you go outside. I know you personally like some outside names.
Yeah, I had Enda McGinley from Tyrone. I think he's a very good manager.
Yeah.
He was with Eric Kilkieran, Tyrone champions, Ulster champions, got to the All-Ireland, but unfortunately lost out narrowly to a fantastic Coola side, which is managed by Austin O'Malley, another good Mayo manager,
Yeah. And then you have Oisin McConville, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in one of the possible management teams last time for Mayo. And then we have Ray Dempsey here.
Yes, within Mayo, the club scene. Yeah, Ray Dempsey. The likes of Sean Dean now, he's been doing a great job with Brafey. Yeah. And, Mayo minors in the past, he done well. He deserves a mention,
absolutely,
of course.
Yeah, absolutely does, yeah. John Riley, your own club man.
Yeah,
won an All-Ireland.
Yeah.
Won an All-Ireland.
Great manager, yeah. I've no doubt about it. He will manage Mayo sometime, but it might be a bit early for John Riley's career now.
Okay. And it's it's so interesting. Also, a man maybe left field a bit, Kevin Johnston.
Yes.
Yeah, really good record with Ballintober.
Ballintober for years. He was a great man,
Yeah.
He went on to manage Corfin, I think, and he's done well with them as well. And
really good.
Yeah, he's a very good manager,
Yeah, so I've been around this circle a long time, watching Mayo managers being appointed and got rid of. One man that's been touted in a lot of places. He's been there before. John Mahan.
Yes. I wasn't expecting that now, but John Mahan, he's been around the block, He's been managed Mayo before, obviously. And Lahardon success, Crossmolina, great success last year. He's a top man,
Yeah, and really inspirational kind of guy. And there's just something about him. So it's very interesting to see his name in there as well.
Oh, sure. There's some big names mentioned, even the likes of Mickey Hart, I don't know.
Yeah, it really is hard to know.
It is.
But the next couple of weeks will be, from our point of view in the Mayo News, it'll be very exciting. Now we're looking forward to a new manager and all the shenanigans that go with the appointments of that, and it'll be just amazing. So if you had to pick one now, who would you go for?
I'd go Austin O'Malley number 1 and a dark horse, Enda McGinley.
Thanks, Ronan. We might hold you to that. I'll hold my fire, I think, until at least tomorrow's Pitchside. It's generating so much talk, this appointment. I've had people on to me from America. I've had people on to me from Canada, New Zealand, everywhere. And in every, I suppose, office and home and hostelry in Mayo, this is going to be the topic of conversation for the next week or 2 or 3 weeks until we have an appointment. But we'll be back to you tomorrow with Pitchside from Toby's Pub in Westford.